right. We're going to talk about the second expanded universe book ever written. And it was called Han Solo at Star's End. This was written by Brian Daley. Now, Han Solo at Star's End is a book that takes place before A New Hope. That's right. I know that back in the Bantam era, it was pretty frowned upon to write things prior to A New Hope, with a few exceptions. A.C. Crispin's Han Solo books and the Droids comics, as well as Tales of the Jedi, come to mind. But before that, that really didn't happen all that much, except for in like the early Del Rey era, because Del Rey had the rights to write Star Wars novels first. And they wrote they had a Han Solo trilogy, a Lando trilogy, and Splinter of the Mind's Eye. This is the first of the Han Solo trilogy. What is this about? Well, Han and Chewie are trying to make ends meet in the galaxy. You know, they're running guns here, they're smuggling other things elsewhere. They're just trying to make ends meet. And they keep running into this group called the Corporate Authority. Now, they aren't the Empire. They're sort of like a Outer Rim conglomerate where it's these corporations that have their own, like, police force. And they're very bad people. And they're on the tail of Han and Chewie. And Han and Chewie, they need to have repairs done to the Millennium Falcon. They go to their old pal Doc. Doc's missing, and his daughter Jess doesn't know where he is. So Han and Chewie take a job trying to find Doc, and they have these two droids they have to transport called Bollux and Blue Max. Blue Max is a little droid that fits in the chassis of Bollux, who's an old service droid, like he was a loader, like he loaded cargo. Blue Max is the state-of-the-art droid that has like a child's voice and is like supposed to hide in Bollux so they can do espionage type stuff. And Han and Chewie are going to meet up with some people that are anti the Authority because they've all lost family members to the Authority. But one of them is a traitor, and Han has to figure out who it is, and also save the people he cares about. So, let's talk about Han Solo at Star's End. I think it's awesome. This is what I call pulpy Star Wars. So back in the late 70s and into the early 80s with Star Wars was very pulpy, more so than space fantasy. Sure, Marvel dabbled in the fantasy stuff here and there, and like had some kiddie stuff with Jackson the Rabbit, and like early on dealt with some goofy stuff. But Star Wars in the early days is very pulpy, because you got to look at that original film. That original film is not what we think of as Star Wars today. Star Wars today is pretty clean, sterile looking. Sure, you got your Andors and stuff where it looks dirty and grimy. But with the prequels and everything, a lot of the grime got taken out of Star Wars, and you had to go find it. In something like Han Solo at Star's End, it's very apparent. I mean, like, that first movie is so dark, but it's done in such a tasteful way that no one realizes how unpleasant. Luke's family's burned to a cinder. Obi-Wan chops a guy's arm off, and it's a bloody lump on the floor. Han shoots someone in cold blood. Like, Princess Leia is tortured. Like, it's dark stuff. Or how about Alderaan's destroyed? A planet that looks like Earth is completely blown up and obliterated. It's dark stuff. So, this deals with that tone of this galaxy is dark and mysterious. and focuses more on that rather than the Force and the mystical aspects. And I think that is to this book's credit, because we already had that with Splinter of the Mind's Eye, went down that direction. I won't get into my thoughts on Splinter of the Mind's Eye. You'll have to at another time. I'll discuss that. But in my opinion, Star Wars at this time, it was easier to write pulpy, grounded stories that just had space aliens and they were space operas. But they're pulp. They're pulps. Very fast-paced reads, down and dirty stuff. There's a scene in this where Han blasts someone out of an airlock and just straight up murders a man. And it's a crazy scene, but it's completely in character for Han Solo to do this. This is pre-Empire, pre-Jedi Han, where he kind of mellows out. This is New Hope Han, the guy who shot Greedo first. And it's very, very clear that Han, if he doesn't think something's right, he's just going to get rid of that problem. And he is the thief with a heart of gold, but he does have a dark edge to him. Something that I think is lost these days, especially with the special editions, what have you. But anyway, would I recommend Han Solo at Star's End to people? Yeah. I will say this, it's something you gotta be in the mood for. Han Solo at Star's End can drag if you're not into this kind of story. But at the same time, if you're not into like the Force, that side of Star Wars, the mystical side, I think you're going to get something out of this as like a fun science fiction book. It's not too tech heavy. It's got some great humor, specifically from Chewbacca. This book really deals with the Wookiee humor. And there were times with like Bollocks and Blue Max and Chewie that had me laughing out loud. It's good. What would I rank this? I'd probably rank it a 4.5 out of 5. It's very good, especially for something early on where Star Wars is trying to get its footing on what it's going to be like. There's only one film. There's some comic books and one other novel that's very strange, to say the least. So, anyway, have a nice day.